Hey everyone, I'm Paul Sugimura, and I'm super excited to be shooting the very first episode of Plugged In with Paul. And I couldn't have thought of even better guest to have than the man, the myth himself, the person who's opened up this beautiful space for us to use today. Please help me in welcoming Jacky Man.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for opening up the space, man. It's really excited and super happy to be here, man. But yeah, we see kind of this brokers that you've created, this beautiful space. You've put in a lot of work into it. But I think a lot of times with social media, people kind of always see the end result. And obviously, it took a long time to get here, right? Like building this beautiful space took a very long time. So, Jacky, let's go back from the beginning. So, how did you start in real estate?
I started, I would say, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
First off, I was working I studied here, went back to Hong Kong and China to work for 8 years. And I was going to get married, and my wife preferred to, stay in Canada. So then we moved back for good. But a year prior or 2 years prior to coming back, we always come to visit in the summer to her family, my family. And we decided to move back for real this time. So then we were finding our place in events. And I was thinking of what I'm going to do coming back here. And I was in my early 30s or mid 30s. So I decided to do real estate. So I think it was in 2013 or 14 when we decided to move back. I started my first course before even coming back. So I wanted to,
So
get my stuff
what
ready,
kind of
right?
what kind of made you gravitate toward real estate? Like what was that kind of that moment where you're like, aha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I like to have my own time. I like to work at my own pace. And when I ask around, I have friends that was doing real estate, and I asked them, like, why do you want to pick real estate? Of course, it's rewarding. That's number one thing. And you get to make up your own time management. But I found out in the end, that's not the case.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. When you're a active agent, you're
Yeah,
actually quite busy. That's what people think, like, oh, you can make your own hours, but really
exactly.
as a real estate agent, we're around the
Yeah,
clock, right?
exactly.
At all
And when
times.
you're not busy, you want to be proactive. So then, yeah,
Exactly.
right?
So I guess the next question for me is, what were some of the biggest challenges early on that you faced, right? Because I think, again, we talked about, right, there's a lot of building up
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of struggle. And you and
Mm-hmm.
I, obviously, we shared a few war stories,
Right.
obviously, when we first started. But
Right.
can you share something? I think yesterday you mentioned about, not cold calling, pardon me,
Door knocking.
door knocking,
Mm-hmm.
right? So can you talk a little bit about that door knocking story?
Yeah, the door knocking story was I still keep that in mind. Like it's actually implement a lot of memories in my head. I remember when I was doing door knocking, I started in late summer that year, my very first year, and everyone's telling me you should door knock, door knock. So then I got one of my mentor at that time. She sold a listing around the neighborhood, so I was taking her listing that was sold, and I was just knocking around the neighborhood, going down everywhere to knock. And luckily, I actually got one eventually,
Yeah.
but it was not even in the same community. But I didn't know what to do, so I just took a listing, started knocking from Stouffville to Westbrook to Jefferson.
Wow.
Um, Long story short, it was winter time at that time, so you want to look good, right? So I was putting on my suit, I was with my dress shoes, and then instead of going around people's driveway down the sidewalk, you get lazy.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're
yeah.
gonna step over the people's lawn, and then after a few houses down, you're like, shoot, my shoes are wet, and
Completely
my
soaked.
yeah,
Oh
socks are
my
completely
gosh.
soaked. But then you gotta keep going. You're like,
Yep,
I'm
yep.
like half an hour in, I'm like, I'm not gonna go home and change,
Yeah.
change my shoes. But eventually, you'll learn to knock smarter. I would say you're gonna start wearing boots. You're not gonna have that swag, but
Well, I mean, I think that just speaks to the work ethic, right?
yeah,
Because a
yeah,
lot of people at that point, when their feet are wet, they're like, I'm done.
screw this.
I'm done.
Right?
I'm done. But you were like, you know what? I'm gonna lock in. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now I guess the next question from you. So we had that kind of that early war chest story. But
Mhm.
what made you make the jump from being an agent to now owning your own brokerage? Because this to me is the most exciting thing.
Right,
Right.
right,
Because now this is such a big step, right?
right,
We're used to being agents trying to grow our own brand, but now here you are owning your own brokerage. That's
right.
amazing.
Thank you. So Paul, let me ask you this: when you decide to be an agent,
Yeah.
what was your end game? What was your end goal? Just want to be an agent?
My end goal was to own a brokerage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's majority of how all agents plans are. Eventually, kind of like the end game, own your own brokerage, right? So same thing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So, all right, Jacky. So we know, everything in real estate is not ponies and rainbows, right? And life is not a Disney movie. And we kind of talked a little bit about some struggles and tough parts about your beginning, starting your career. What was one of the toughest struggles in your career?
I think the toughest struggle is for me is the knowledge, right? For sure, because I'm sure like learning how to book a showing, coordinate your time from showings to showings, seeing your like meeting lead generation, all that stuff can be learned. But how do you break the barrier for presenting the house? To your clients when you do your showing, are you sure that the things that you're saying is correct? You kind of doubt yourself a lot of times, right? And my other strongest struggle is social media. How do you show your presence, right, to people? And I remember when I was doing my first Facebook, when I was just trying to change that profile picture to one of these, right? A lot of people trying to do that. When I click that submit button, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna get a lot of like laughs and a lot of comments from my existing friends or whatever, which
Right.
I did,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you just have to go past that.
Push
Don't
through
worry
it.
about what people's comments are.
Yeah.
But because you have to let people know what you're doing. If you're afraid to push through that, like your social circle, to let people know that you're an actual agent, then you know what, like a few steps back already
For
from
sure. For
going this
sure.
career.
I think to be successful in our industry, right? Like, and putting yourself out there, as it's so hard, right? And you're always going to have someone's always going to make a little comment here or there. But I think, like you said, it's just kind of about pushing through. So that's awesome. Um, did you ever question yourself if real estate was the right choice? I think, especially in today's market now, I know a lot of agents are kind of questioning that. So has there been a time where that
I
happened?
think in general, life in general, there's always stuff that you will doubt yourself, thinking if this is right for me, maybe like, training, or even when you're trying to change your hairstyle, is it right for me, right? There's all these cases that comes through. It's all about your mindset, how strong you are to go through that. Because if you make a decision, when you make that decision, I'm sure you actually think it once, twice, three times, like whatever possibilities, and then your end game. And once you make that decision, you're gonna go forward, just stick to it and continue.
I
Right?
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So my question for you is, again, so in dealing with sort of personal setbacks, sometimes there are, right? Like we have our market downturn right now. We have sort of deals falling through. What are some things that you do to kind of deal with these sort of setbacks, like personally, that you could maybe give our tips to some of our new agents who might be watching right now?
Setbacks as to what,
Like for example, let's
Mhm.
say the market right now is not ponies and rainbows, right? It's very hard, and obviously there are a few things that people are doing to sort of get past and push through that. What are some things that you do?
What I get and push through myself is the market is slow. There might be a lot of people doubting if this is the right, career, or if this is the right time to get in, or should I find a part-time job or whatever. But you just have to have a different type of mindset when you look at things, half empty glass or half full. So how I see it is, do you see transactions happening on the MLS every day? Okay, so how do you be one of them?
Exactly.
That's my mindset.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. Now, let's not always talk about just real estate,
real
because
estate, yes.
Jacky is a very interesting man. Okay, people. Once you get to know Jacky, he's a man of many different traits. Okay, and passions. So, outside of real estate, what sort of passions and hobbies keep you grounded? Obviously, Muay Thai is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So, do
yes.
you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Muay Thai actually transitioned me to, I would say, like took a huge part of who I am today. I think it's not just about like Muay Thai. I think overall, like martial arts or like some type of sports, that gives you a strong mindset, and you have to be very disciplined, and that will change towards your course of day-to-day life. That's
Right.
how I see. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you're also a father as well. Fatherhood is a
Yes.
big thing, and we definitely want to talk about that.
And I have to go pick up my daughter.
Yeah,
very
right.
soon.
See,
Yes.
he's being a good dad. He's being a dad. The pod might be a little bit quick. He's being a great
Yeah.
dad. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, how do you find time, man?
Yeah.
Like, how do you find time to have the balance? Obviously, as we see right now, you're going to go pick up your daughter and stuff.
Right.
But like, how do you find the time to balance
So
everything?
time management is very, very important. Okay, so you
Right.
have, like, at my age now, in my 40s, so you have to plan your day or your life very, very, very what's that word?
Meticulously.
Meticulously. Yes. Okay. So you have to find what's your priority, what's
Right.
your importance, and of course for me, always you have to put like family as part of
As you should.
your circle.
As you should.
But then I'm still working on that, to be honest with you, because my wife also gives me words about oh, you're not spending enough time. So time management is very important, and when you're with your family or when you do a certain task that you're doing, devote 100% to
You want to
it.
be present.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to be
100%.
present. It's like, so there's no phone, no texting when you're
Right.
with the family. Kind
Right,
of thing,
right, totally.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I think that's also something that can be said for just real estate agents in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes we just see that notification
you-
on our
you
phone,
hope-
and we just have to just
Yeah.
jump on it.
Yeah,
But
you feel FOMO when
yeah,
you're like, oh, the client's gonna be gone. Let me do this right now. Right?
exactly,
Yeah.
right? But that I think that's really great that you mentioned that,
Yeah.
like having that time to just kind of disconnect
Right.
and
right.
actually be present in the moment,
Right.
and be able to actually be in the moment as opposed to just
Yeah, and you also have to know what you need to sacrifice.
Facts.
As well,
That's
right?
very true.
Like sleep or like leisure time. You just have to know how. There's only a set amount of time, like 24 hours a day,
Right.
right? Of course, sleep is very important.
Right.
Like especially at my age now, again, saying my age, sleep is very important. So you have to put aside that 6 hours or whatever that you can, as much as you can, and then from that you have to dissect your time and prioritize which is more important for you throughout the day. Yeah.
And I think I guess that skill set carries over to your business as well, which means
Yep.
why you're so successful, right? You
I'm
just
not
have
successful.
good
I'm
time
still learning.
management.
Time management is very important. Yeah, and you have to be dedicated, disciplined. It's all back to like Muay Thai and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that Muay Thai, I guess, is actually very, very important pillar in your life then, right?
Very very important. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Jackie. So, obviously we've talked about a little about the serious stuff, but let's talk about some of the funny
Fun
stuff,
stuff?
that
Okay,
happens,
sure.
right? Like, because being an agent, you see all kinds of things, right? As you know.
I heard some of your stories.
Yes,
I
some of
wanna
my
hear that,
stories for
yes.
sure, which we'll definitely get into a little bit later. But
Yeah.
can you share any sort of funny story that's happened during your career, maybe on a showing, or maybe, for example, when I first started showings, there was a time where I walked in accidentally onto people, doing the day.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned, you have to knock on every door before you go in. You don't just go and open the door.
Yeah. I don't have a really a lot of really funny stories, but then I remember there was a time where I was doing a showing on like a $2 million home in somewhere in Markham, and it was tenanted. Okay, so usually you can tell if the tenant is being cooperative or not. They let you show, so that meaning okay, they're not bad. Okay, they let you see it. Once I go in, open the door. Oh, there's a little pug that walks around, and there's like shit all over the place. So right off the bat, they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to leave. Such a nice house, and then I go up to the bedroom. Like there's like women's underwear, clothes everywhere, but.
They did it on purpose. They
They
definitely
did
definitely
it.
on purpose.
Definitely did it on purpose.
Man.
Yeah. So my client felt like it was they're like interrupting people's space, but the tenant, pretty good looking though. Yes.
Okay. I guess I gotta ask: has there been a funny moment in Muay Thai that's kind of, or something that's kind of unexpected moment in your daily life that's ever happened?
Funny moment was before you actually go for a competition. I used to compete. Okay, back in the days. Okay, so
Lethal.
you'll go have some what you call like an in-house fight. So
Right.
like some with like full gears and stuff. So a few fights in, and then the gym owner is like, Jacky, you've got some talent. So why don't you go to the actual ring and then go for a competition? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm gonna kick some ass. So I went there and 10 seconds in, I got knocked out.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Fighting will teach you a lot. A
Yes,
lot. Will teach you a
and
lot.
then and that's why you will start, revisiting yourself. You're gonna start being more humble,
Right,
right?
right,
You're gonna
right.
be humble. You'll be like, there's so many people that's so much
much
better
better.
than you, but then you can tell that they're so much better in terms of like martial arts or philosophy or whatever it is, but they're so humble and they're willing to share. And that's what I learned and I'll adapt that to my regular life in terms of my business as well.
Right, definitely. I definitely see that for you, like just knowing you and getting to know you,
Yeah.
like you definitely are one of like the most generous people I know, and you're always very, very, very like willing to give people your time,
you'll
and,
buy me
it means a
coffee
lot.
later, though.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and I guess this sort of ties in with sort of going to running a brokerage, right?
Yep.
So, what inspired you to open up your own firm?
I think I am pretty competitive, as you can see, like with the whole Muay Thai thing and work. I just want to see where I can get myself into. Back then, it will be, I want to compete. I want to be better than this agent or the agent that's in the neighborhood, right? I want to have like a higher GCI and all. But after a while, as age goes by, it's about competing for yourself. And
I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
and-
I like that a lot, actually.
and I love Kobe Bryant
Right.
like a lot. And the Mamba mentality is to inspire and give back. And now I think I want to start inspiring people if I can, right? And share what I know, so then they can pass it on to the next.
That's awesome. That's
Like
awesome.
that's no bullshit though.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I'm
no,
real.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. And I think
real.
that actually kind of
Yeah.
ties in with the culture you're trying to create here. So what
Yes,
kind of
yes,
culture
yes.
are you trying to create here?
Yeah, so when I started my brokerage, of course, there's so many big brands out there, especially in the area we're in. how do you stand out from others, right? For sure. So you have to think of that as not just opening a brokerage and yeah, you're gonna look good, be a broker record. No, that's not it. You have to think of ways where you can help agents, or you can actually help the neighborhood or that your farming areas, right? So my culture right now is we're a boutique size brokerage. I don't think we're gonna be like hundreds or
Thousands,
like
yeah,
thousands of agents that I have. So then our culture is gonna be very important. Okay, right off the bat is we live by our word. Before it was man of his word, and now since we have more than one, then it's going to be like we live by our word. That's going to be one of our core value, right? The second is treat other how you want to be treated, right? Have integrity, and also we want to build a community, right? That's why what I was thinking of right now is actually farm my own area along with my teams, and we're actually doing a lot of research right now as to what kind of community work, volunteer work is not just about flying out or door knocking. That's going to be partial of it, but that's not the whole portion. Like we're gonna more devote ourselves in towards serving the community.
Right, you actually want to make a difference, right?
Yes,
I think
yes,
I think long gone are the days of. I mean, you and I used to see it all the time. All the Instagram ads of people with the flashy car, and this and that, and ooh, look at me. But that doesn't really hit with clients anymore these days, right?
Yeah,
Nobody,
of course.
people want people who are actually genuine. So I think that's awesome that you're doing that. Now, one thing I actually did want to ask you was, what do you normally do when you feel overwhelmed? And like, how do you sort of get out of that funk? Because I'm sure, obviously, owning a brokerage comes with a whole other set of things that you have to deal with, right? So, what do you sort of do when you get in like overwhelmed?
You just have to decompress.
Yeah.
Right. Family.
Right.
What I like to do is to cook.
That's awesome.
Right, but I don't have the time to cook lately because of starting the whole brokerage. But I like to cook. You get to switch off, put aside the phone, start prepping, do the cutting, washing, and then actually cook a decent meal. But then by the time you finish cooking, you don't really want to eat it.
Yeah, we're the same way. We're the same way. I love the preparation. After you're like,
yeah, I'm full from smelling it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. So, like, walk me sort of through a typical day for you, because we sort of talked about work-life balance, right, and business-life balance, right? So what are sort of like, walk me through your day, including work, family, and training. Like, what does a day in the life of Jacky look like?
I don't want to tell you my rundown of today's day, of course, because it's not fair because of my actually agenda was switched. But before the brokerage started, I would try to wake up. Well, I used to be in a pre-construction team, and my team leader's name, her name was Bridget. She shared me with this book called the 5 a.m. Club. So then I was trying to follow that. And you're just trying to be ahead of the game in front of people, in front of everyone. When they're sleeping, you're up already, right? When they're up, I'm already finished like a couple tasks already, right? So then I try to wake up at 5 a.m. and then I'll go training right away. Doesn't matter if it's snowing, rainy, whatever. And the thing is, my trainer in the gym, we have the same mentality.
Shout out to Mikey.
Yeah, shout out to Mikey. Southside. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so then we have the same mentality. So it's kind of like a challenge already right off the bat. Who's going to call each other? Who's going to text each other saying that I'm not coming in? I'm whatever. So like waking up, you can, push aside all the emails, all the messages, only see the ones that's very important. Then you'll try and reply. But then, have your own, take care of yourself first. I want to speak of that. The art of war, right?
Sun Tzu, yep.
The Zen Tzu, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to take care of yourself first,
right,
and then you have to take care of your family.
Right.
Then you can take care of your country, and then you can go conquer, right? So always look after yourself first. Selfish to say, but you have to have a clear mind, have to have a good body, good mindset before you can actually reach to the next level.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I guess the next question is, like, let's look forward a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I know, after talking with you, you always are thinking ahead, right? You're always thinking ahead, like, what are the next steps? So what's your vision of the brokerage in the next, 5 years?
That's a very good question. So with my brokerage, it's not about myself, right? So what I'm doing right now with my teams, like my sales team, my core team, I'm actually trying to build them into a team leader themselves.
Ah, that's awesome.
So we have like mentorship program where, there's new agents who comes in, or if they come in, I will offer my seasoned agents, right? So if you're interested to be the mentor.
Right.
So once they finish becoming like a good mentor or a leader, they grow and expand. You don't have to be part of my team, right? You have your own team within the brokerage. And eventually, if the books works out and all that, we can actually fund you to start your own brokerage.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I can carry on. Because I see, like yourself, Paul, like a lot of agents, end game, I want to start my own brokerage. But a lot of them don't have maybe the career, like that They don't have the courage.
Yeah.
They don't have the finance, or they don't have the manpower. So I'm here just trying to give you guys that little push so you can reach your dream. But of course, vice versa, I'm gonna get something back in return, of course. But it's about giving first before you can receive.
Right. And then that just ties in with your culture. That's awesome. All right. So now we're gonna jump into something a little bit fun, and this is what we like to call rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Okay.
Rapid kicks.
Here we go. Favorite Muay Thai move?
Roundhouse kicks.
Roundhouse kick. Okay.
Yeah.
First job you ever had?
Working for my dad in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Going with his trades, cleaning commercial air conditioning.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, this is. I just want to take a time out real quick. People see, like, this guy has put in the work, right? Like, and there's no like free.
I
lunch.
didn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to put in the work, people.
Yeah.
Okay, coffee, tea, or energy drink?
Coffee.
Okay, what's your walkout song? MMA. If you were gonna do Muay Thai, pardon me, what would your walkout song be?
It's gonna be some really cheesy Thai songs, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I like those like original old school Thai,
right.
Thai
Okay,
music.
cool. Dream vacation spot that you have not been to yet?
Maldives or
Maldives.
Maldives.
Okay,
Yes.
very nice. And what's harder, being a dad or running a brokerage?
Being a dad.
Definitely.
Yes.
Good answer. If your life was a movie, what would the title be called?
We live by our word.
Well done. All right, Jacky, thanks so much for your insights. Before we wrap up, tell everyone where they can find you.
At Avenue Group Realty or 1927 Avenue Road. Simple as that.
Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in to the very first episode of Plugged In with Paul Sugimura. We have so many more episodes coming for you guys to see. So if you can, please make sure to like, share, write a review, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you, Paul.